A very long time ago, there was a great and large kingdom in Baghdad. It was ruled by Sultan Adil Shah. He was not just a ruler but a fair and kind leader who loved his people like his own children. In his kingdom, no one went to bed hungry, no one was wronged, and no orphan or helpless person was left alone. Every night, when the whole city was fast asleep, Sultan Adil Shah would leave his royal clothes behind. He would dress like a simple traveler, rub dust and dirt on his face, and quietly leave the palace through the back door. People who saw him thought he was either a beggar or a tired traveler. He would walk through the streets, markets, and neighborhoods, listening to the people and silently understanding their pain. Whenever he saw someone being treated unfairly or suffering from hunger and thirst, his heart would ache. Then, the next morning, when he sat on his throne in his royal robes, he would immediately fix all the wrongs he had seen at night. The people only knew that their sultan was very kind. But only a few trusted ministers knew the secret that the sultan himself went out at night to see the condition of the city. This was not just a way of ruling, but an art of winning the hearts of the people. One such cool and peaceful night, the sultan was walking through the city streets in disguise. As he passed through a narrow, dark lane, he heard some very faint whispers. He stopped and carefully moved towards the sound. He saw 4 men talking secretly in a corner. They were the city's most famous thieves: Qasim, Rehan, Fahim, and Jabir. They were planning their next big robbery. Qasim, the smartest one, whispered that this time every step had to be perfect. Rehan said they would rob Kamal, the city's richest merchant. Jabir looked around nervously and said that the Sultan had spies everywhere and even wandered the streets in disguise. Fahim laughed and said the Sultan was too busy enjoying life in his palace to worry about them. The Sultan heard everything and knew this was the gang behind all the robberies. But he needed to catch them in the act. The night grew darker. The Sultan changed his walk, put a small smile on his face, and went to the thieves like a wandering traveler. He asked them what they were planning. The thieves were startled at first, but when they saw a tired, dirty man, they relaxed. They asked who he was. The Sultan said. He was one of them, a big thief who had fallen on bad luck. Jabir asked him to prove it by sharing a great story. The Sultan said he didn't tell stories, he showed his skill, and he had once almost robbed the royal treasury. Qasim laughed and said that was a big dream. Fahim asked for proof. The Sultan said proof comes after the job and asked them to take him along that night so he could show what he could do. After a moment, Jabir agreed to test him. The Sultan then asked them, in a friendly way, what special skills made them such fearless thieves. Jabir said his nose was so powerful he could smell gold, silver, and diamonds from far away. Qasim said he understood the language of animals. Dogs, cats, and horses told him if danger was near. Fahim pulled out a thin wire and said he could open any lock, no matter how hard. Rehan said his eyes were so sharp that once he saw someone in the dark, he could always recognize them again, even in a mask or a crowd. The Sultan was amazed by their talents. Then he told them his own special skill: if they ever got caught, just one small signal from his eyes could save them from punishment and death. The thieves were very impressed and said he had the most valuable skill of all. Then the Sultan suggested they stop doing small robberies. He said if they wanted to live in peace, they should do one big job and be done with it. He pointed them to the royal treasury of Baghdad. The thieves' eyes lit up with greed. They agreed and followed the Sultan towards the palace. As they neared the palace wall, a dog started barking loudly. Jabir asked Qasim what the dog was saying. Qasim listened and his face turned white. He said the dog was telling them that the Sultan of the kingdom was walking with them right now. The other thieves laughed and said Qasim must have misunderstood. The Sultan himself, disguised as the traveler, joked that the dog was probably just hungry. The group moved on. They entered the palace. Jabir smelled the ground and led them straight to the treasury. Fahim opened the heavy lock with his thin wire in a moment. Inside, they saw piles of gold coins, diamonds, and pearls. They were blinded by the wealth. They all began filling their bags, including the Sultan. When they were done, they offered the Sultan his share. He refused, saying it was not his destiny to have such wealth. While they were busy counting their loot, the Sultan casually asked each one where they lived and how to find them again for future plans. Jabir said he lived near the inn by the market. The Sultan got all their names and addresses. The thieves had no idea that the man who robbed with them was the ruler of the land. The next morning, the whole city was in an uproar. News spread like fire that the royal treasury had been looted. The court was full of panic. The Sultan sat silently on his throne and then announced that he knew exactly who the thieves were and where they lived. He named Jabir, Qasim, Fahim, and Rehan. Guards were sent and the 4 thieves were brought to the court in ropes. They were terrified, wondering how the Sultan knew everything. Rehan looked closely at the Sultan's face and suddenly turned pale. He recognized him. He told his friends that their 5th partner was none other than the Sultan himself. The others could not believe it. But Rehan swore that he never forgot a face he saw in the dark. The Sultan laughed loudly. He signaled the guards to untie the thieves. Then he told the whole court the story of the night. He explained how he went with them, learned their skills, and found their hiding places. The 4 thieves fell at the Sultan's feet, crying and asking for forgiveness. The Sultan said they were indeed thieves, but they also had rare and valuable talents. He said if they used those talents in the right way, they could change their lives and become a blessing to the kingdom. He gave them official positions based on their skills. Rehan became the chief guard of the palace. Fahim became the keeper of the royal treasury. Qasim was made the head of the royal stables. And Jabir became the leader of the search squad. Over time, these 4 men, once known for their crimes, became the most loyal and capable officers of Sultan Adil Shah. They became strong pillars of the kingdom.